My elder twin sister disguised herself as a man to study at the Imperial Academy. The day I went to deliver her meals, I happened to run straight into her classmate, Lord Lin, the heir of the Dingyuan Marquis Manor. He stared at me, dazed, and murmured, "So you really are a young lady." That very same day, an imperial edict of betrothal arrived out of the blue, ordering me to wed into the Dingyuan Marquis Manor. My sister sank into dejection. And only then did Lin Suiyu realize the emperor had issued the marriage decree to the wrong sister. Yet an imperial edict, once proclaimed, could never be retracted. He turned all his resentment on me thereafter, treating me with icy coldness, even in private intimacy. He would sink his teeth into my lips and humiliate me cruelly. "If you'd told me the truth sooner, I would never have missed your sister." I wasted away and died of sorrow, reborn on the exact day I was meant to bring my sister food. I shook my head firmly. "I'm not going." My sister froze. "Not going." She tucked her long hair into a scholar's headscarf, confused. "We agreed on this yesterday. Why are you refusing all of a sudden?" "I've been looking forward to your sweet and sour spare ribs for ages." A wind had sprung up outside unawares. Dead leaves swirled down into the dried lotus pond, and the sky beyond the window turned gray and hazy. Blurred to see clearly, I lowered my gaze to look at her. She had already donned the blue-trimmed scholar robe of the Imperial Academy, a misty white gauze outer layer draped over its wide, indigo sleeves. A thin sash cinched her waist, outlining her lean, slender figure. She rested her chin on my shoulder and pleaded, "Dear Zhao Yue, just go for me this once, won't you? The canteen food at the academy is dreadful. Look how thin I've gotten." Her face, identical to mine, wore a look of dejected grievance. In my past life, she had begged me just like this. We were twin sisters born to the same mother, close as could be since childhood. My sister was notoriously fussy with food. Our household went through countless chefs, yet none could satisfy her palate. Only when I cooked personally would she eat to her heart's content, beaming with delight. That was why I had gone to deliver the food back then, on another foggy day just like this. I first laid eyes on Lin Suiyu. The midday sun hung pale and washed out. He lounged lazily in the dappled shade beneath a Bodhi tree, clad in jade-strapped robes and a golden crown, breathtakingly handsome and ethereal. When he saw me, he faltered for a moment. "Yu Tinglan." I blinked in surprise. I was about to speak and tell him I was not my sister, when I caught sight of Supervisor Su out of the corner of my eye. Outsiders were forbidden to linger inside the Imperial Academy, subject to punishment if caught. Panic seized me. I gathered my skirts and fled in a rush. As I brushed past him in my haste, strands of my hair grazed his curled fingers, and he plucked a golden hairpin from my tresses. I stumbled breathlessly back home, and within half a day, palace eunuchs arrived bearing the imperial betrothal edict. They claimed Lord Lin of Dingyuan Marquis Manor had fallen head over heels at first sight and would take no one but me as his wife. The Dingyuan Marquis title was hereditary, its household unmatched in prestige and power. Lord Lin himself was strikingly handsome and refined in bearing. It should have been an unparalleled match. But on our wedding night, Lin Suiyu stumbled into the bridal chamber dead drunk. He ripped my red veil off in one violent tug. "Why did you never tell me that the Yu Tinglan studying at the academy is your elder sister? If I'd known from the start you were not her, I would never have married you." I stood dumbfounded. It was then I understood the truth. Lin Suiyu had begged the emperor for our betrothal because he had mistaken me for my sister. When my sister learned I was suffering mistreatment, she stormed to the Dingyuan Marquis Manor with her longbow in hand. She loosed an arrow that pierced Lin Suiyu's shoulder, blood seeping through his clothing. "Now that you have wed my sister, you must treat her well for the rest of your days. If you ever wrong her again, I swear I will spare you no mercy." Lin Suiyu fell gravely ill from his injury afterward. Overwhelmed with guilt for hurting me, my sister fled south to the Jiangnan region, only to perish in a shipwreck mid-journey. From then on, the Dingyuan Marquis Manor cut all ties with our family. No servants even came bearing holiday gifts through the years. Our relations completely severed. Watching my sister's pleading face, I shook my head again. "Sister, I can make your favorite dish and send a servant to deliver it. But I do not wish to go there myself today. Seeing I was resolute, she hesitated, then dropped the subject. Very well. If you don't want to go, don't. She glanced at me and sighed, her eyes crinkling gently. I'd hoped to show off to my classmates what a lovely, obedient little sister I have. I watched her stride out of our courtyard, her ribbon trailing in a graceful arc behind her. A sharp twinge stung my nose. By refusing to deliver the meal, I had severed the doomed romance that plagued my past life before it could ever begin. As usual, my sister returned each evening chattering about amusing happenings at the academy, and I breathed a deep, genuine sigh of relief. Winds had howled for 2 days straight, before heavy snow suddenly descended. Shortly after breakfast, my maid Kaiwei called out excitedly from the courtyard. Young mistress, it's snowing. Come outside quickly. What a heavy fall. I lifted the curtain and saw thick gooseflake snow swirling down from a gloomy, overcast sky, blanketing the ground white in no time. In the afternoon, as the snow intensified, I headed to the backyard plum tree to collect a jar of snow steeped with plum blossom fragrance. Tea brewed with this melted snow carried a faint, crisp plum aroma. Yet my body was frail, and I fell ill with a raging fever that night. My sister came home straight from the academy, snow still dusting her shoulders, and hurried into my room at once. Her figure blurred in my feverish haze, and memories of my past life crashed over me. I whimpered softly. Sister, she pressed her cold palms to my forehead, removing the handkerchief that had dried out against my burning skin. Serves you right for playing out in the snow. My sister had a sharp tongue but a soft heart. Though she grumbled, her hands never stilled for a moment. She sponged my body with alcohol to bring down my fever, then knelt beside the stove simmering herbal medicine, buried under my quilt. I vaguely watched her burn her fingers on the medicinal pot, puffing rapidly at the sore spot with puffed cheeks, round as the pair of stone lions guarding our front gate. All lingering resentment inside me melted away entirely. She lifted the medicine bowl to my lips to feed me. Exhaustion weighed heavily on her, and she mumbled drowsily, if Xia Tingsa finds out I haven't taken proper care of you and reproaches me, I'll never live it down. I froze, realizing what she'd accidentally said. She let out an awkward laugh. Let me not speak of him anymore. You needn't be upset. But I stared at the flickering flames in the stove, my mind completely adrift. Xia Tingsu. How many years had it been since I last heard that name? 5 years, 10, or the entirety of my short, wretched past life. Snow still fell outside the window. Lantern light along the corridor cast jagged tree shadows, thin and faint across the silk screen. I suddenly recalled, if not for that sudden imperial betrothal decree all those years ago, I was never fated to marry Lin Suiyu to begin with. Long before the army marched west to conquer the western regions, a man sat tall atop a steed, facing sharp, whipping winds, and smiled toward me. This campaign may drag on for years. If I conquered Qianli and Miluo within 3 years and return victorious, you Zhao Yue, wait for me. I will beg His Majesty for an edict to make you my wife. I waited. From spring to summer, summer to winter, I watched the pear tree he'd planted for me sprout new shoots, bloom, bear fruit, then wither bare, its branches coated in frost and snow. 33 letters I'd sent him finally drew a reply. I tore it open brimming with joy, only to find a sparse few words scrawled across the thin paper. I am safe. Do not worry. You. His reply was curt and detached, making all my pages of anxious, tender longing read like foolishness. Hurt stung my heart, and I stubbornly stopped sending letters. Yet deep down I understood. Countless mountains and rivers separated the capital from the western regions. As a soldier surviving bloody battlefields, he could hardly afford time for lengthy correspondence. More than that, he had always been reserved, clumsy with words by nature. When I picked up my brush to write again, I no longer mailed the letters. I stowed them away in a wooden box instead, which grew stuffed full after more than a year. But fate was cruel. The year after Xia Tingsa left, I was mistakenly betrothed to Lin Suiyu. An imperial command could not be defied. I locked away the wedding gown I'd embroidered for 2 years, donning a hastily tailored replacement bridal robe, and entered the Dingyuan Marquis Manor as his wife. The manor's rear courtyard stretched endless, one behind another. Even the vast, boundless sky felt confined, trapped beneath rigid, square rules. Half a year later, Xia Tingsu returned in triumph. Crowds lined the streets cheering, their raucous celebration stretching all the way from Vermilion Bird Gate to the Imperial Palace. His procession passed the manor gates, and the entire household stepped out to greet him. Xia Tingsu was covered in road dust, still clad in unremoved battle armor, carrying the sharp, bloody stench of the battlefield, cold and imposing. He reined in his horse before our gate, staring silently at me through the throng of onlookers, hesitant to move forward. Lin Suiyu soon learned of my old affection for Xia Tingsu. That night, he burst into my chambers in an unprecedented fit of rage. In his hand were my hidden letters. Somehow seized by him, one by one, he tore them to shreds right before my eyes and tossed the fragments into a brazier. Flames licked at the scraps, gilding his wild, arrogant eyes red. I care nothing for your past with Xia Tingsu. You are wed to me now, belonging to the Dingyuan Marquis Manor. You will not look at him again, nor think of him, even if we are doomed to a bitter, loveless match for life. Your eyes must see no husband but me. His long fingers cupped my face, pressing hard into my lip rouge until the pigment smudged crimson. I bit down hard on his finger. Husband. A husband obsessed with his own wife's elder sister. Stung by my blunt truth, Lin Suiyu flew into madness. He pinned me beneath him on the bed, leaning heavy over my body. The metallic tang of blood filled our mouths. He hated me, resented me. He forced my eyes open to fix on the spirit tablet of my sister standing beside the bed curtains. You Zhao Yue. Let your sister watch you in this state now. Does she know her virtuous little sister is shameless enough to take her place? Writhing beneath her sister's husband. My sister's name was carved forcefully into the tablet etched by Lin Suiyu's own hand after she drowned. A hand seemed to clamp tight around my throat, robbing me of my voice entirely. All my grief and rage dissolved into silent tears, blurring my vision. Lin Suiyu hated me. He hated that I had ruined his chance with my sister. Hated being shackled to lifelong guilt over her fate. I suspected he'd long wished me dead, yet could never bring himself to discard me. Trapped by my face identical to her own, he kept me confined to the rear courtyards. In the aftermath of our intimacy, he would brush soft kisses across my lids, his voice deceptively gentle, yet dragging me deeper into despair. You claim you only came to the academy that day to bring Tinglan food. That was a lie, wasn't it? You dressed in that bright canary yellow dress on purpose, stepping into my sight to seduce me from the start. IU. My dear IU. What would Xia Tingsu think if he saw you squirming beneath me like this? He would be repulsed. I wasted away under constant sorrow. I died barely past my early 30s. I squeezed my eyes shut, gazing at the faint lantern glow outside the window. Given a second chance, my life stretched long before me once more. After the snow cleared, the river running south froze solid with thick ice. My sister pulled on thick deerskin boots and invited me out. Zhao Yue has only just recovered from illness. How can you drag your sister out to fool around? Mother chided gently from the corridor, pressing a fox fur cloak into her hands. My sister wrapped the cloak around my shoulders, grinning and ushering me up into the carriage. Mother, rest assured, I'm just taking her out for fresh air. I know she's delicate. I won't let her catch cold. I promise. Mother huffed in amused exasperation. It is precisely because you're with her I worry for your sister, a young lady. Yet you carry on like a wild boy. A crowd had already gathered along the southern riverbank. Peddlers sold harnessed dogs pulling ice sleds. My sister was about to buy one when a familiar voice called out to her. You Tinglan. My heart lurched, and I whipped my head around. It was my first time laying eyes on Lin Suiyu in this new life. He traded the lavish silk robes I remembered from our first meeting for a crimson gold gown, a narrow leather sash accentuating his lean waist. A forehead band bound his hair. His features sharp and handsome, steeped in noble arrogance and unrestrained charm. My sister grew flustered at once. her cheeks flushing as she squeezed my hand. I'm not dressed as a man today. Why is he here? Will he think me frivolous for sneaking into the academy disguised as a male scholar? I was equally stunned. In this timeline, I had never appeared before him at the academy. Why did he react so calmly to learning my sister was a woman? Could it be Lin Sueyu had also been reborn? My heart hammered wildly in my chest. I steadied myself quickly and whispered to soothe her. He won't think poorly of you. Sister, you've been classmates for a full year. On good terms all this time. He is not that sort of man, don't fret. I lifted my head to find Lin Sueyu already standing before us. His gaze skimmed over me indifferently, as if I were a total stranger. Before shifting back to my sister, Tinglan. You look beautiful dressed as a lady today. My sister grew shy, coughing awkwardly with a fist to her mouth. How did you guess I was a woman? I'd noticed piercings in your earlobes long ago. You claimed you'd gotten them foolishly as a child. Imitating men from the Miao borderland sand, I'd already suspected the truth. My sister unconsciously touched her earlobe, sighed softly, then openly introduced me to Lin Sueyu. This is my younger sister Zhao Yue. We are twins. See how alike we look. Lin Sueyu only glanced at me coolly, his tongue sharp as ever. Your faces may resemble one another, but your characters are worlds apart. What do you mean by that? My sister frowned, offended. You've barely met her. How can you judge our characters so hastily? Are you mocking me, or my sister? Lin Sueyu's haughty expression softened slightly. Why must you speak so sharply, Tinglan? We've been classmates a year, and I've never seen you snap at me like this. The warmth faded from my sister's eyes, and she let out a cold huff. Yue is my own flesh and blood. Naturally, I defend her over an outsider like you. Lin Sueyu's face stiffened, his gaze flicking reproachfully toward me just as he had after my sister wounded him in my past life. Once, I had simply changed his wound on my mother-in-law's orders, only for him to seize my wrist roughly. Your sister just quarreled with me to defend you. And here you are trying to tempt me already. Are you so eager to steal her place in my heart? His dark eyes glinted, and he let out a scoff. Can you not live without chasing another man's attention? My knuckles whitened, and I turned to leave, but he caught my wrist roughly, sinking his teeth into the nape of my neck with a shaky sigh. His voice distant. You Zhao Yue. You are shameless. My sister yanked me behind her and rolled her eyes. Why do you keep staring at my sister? Lord Lin. Do not harbor hopes for her. She already has someone she loves. Lin Sueyu froze mid-gesture, lifting his face as pale winter sunlight fell across his icy features. He tugged at his lip, half smirking, half sneering. While our dynasty holds liberal customs, marriage is still meant to follow parental arrangement and matchmaker's mediation. It would be improper for a young lady to enter private understandings with a man. My sister's frown deepened, and she pulled me away at once. He's been odd and snappish today. Pay him no mind. Let us go. I lowered my eyes and said my hands had grown cold. Returning to the carriage alone. The sun had broken through the clouds by then, its glare reflecting harshly off the snow, blindingly white. I held a hand warmer to my chest. My spirits low. A sudden commotion erupted outside. My maid hurried over, breathless. Trouble. The ice split open a moment ago. An eldest young mistress fell through. I rushed over to see spiderweb cracks spidering across the ice, dark water churning in the broken hole as onlookers scrambled backward. Lin Sueyu stepped forward to block my path. The river water is for Jido, not be reckless. I've already sent men toy shoved past him. Shedding my fox fur cloak and diving into the icy current, bold and unrestrained. My sister excelled at the 6 scholarly arts and wielded a bow masterfully, but she could not swim a stroke. By contrast, though frail in health, I was a strong swimmer, battling bone-numbing cold. I finally dragged my sister back to solid ground. No sooner had we climbed out than Lin Sueyu wrapped my half-unconscious sister in thick blankets and swept her into his arms. He glanced back at me, long lashes shadowing the depth in his eyes. Wait here a moment. I will come help you shortly. I collapsed soaked and shivering on the riverbank, my waterlogged winter robes heavy enough to pin me down. A bitter wind whipped through my dripping hair. strands threatening to freeze solid. My maid scrambled to hold on to me, yet my strength gave way, and I nearly slid back toward the broken ice. Young mistress, hold on tight, please, she cried, on the verge of tears. Through my days. A hand suddenly snatched my wrist firmly. The next second, I was pulled into a broad, warm embrace. My maid fell silent for a beat, then gasped in delight. General Xia, you've returned. Xia Tingsu. Was it truly him? I blinked groggily, opened my eyes. Bright sunlight glinted off rippling river waves like scattered silver sequins. He stood framed by bare willow trees lining the bank in a clear, dustless blue sky. Gazing down at me, the bitter cold vanished all at once. I clutched the front of his robe, unable to tear my eyes away. It was Xia Tingsu. He was home, months earlier than he had been in my past life. A thick woolen cloak wrapped around my shoulders. Xia Tingsu pressed his lips thin, saying nothing as he lifted me into his arms and carried me swiftly to his carriage. Are you staring blankly because it's been too long? And you no longer recognize me? He brushed water from my hair, cracking a faint joke. I snapped back to my senses. A lump rose in my throat, and I punched his chest weakly, my voice hoarse with grievance. You stubborn steed. You finally decided to come back. Do you have any idea what I endured while you were gone? The words died unspoken in my throat. Tears spilled down my cheeks unbidden. Don't cry. Don't cry. Panic flickered across Xia Tingsu's face, fumbling clumsily to wipe my tears away. His calloused, battle-worn fingers brushed my icy cheeks, burning unexpectedly warm. I pressed my cheek into his palm, rubbing gently against it. He pressed his lips together and pulled me softly into his embrace. I know everything. I know how I made you suffer by being away too long. His figure blurred through my tears, and a memory surfaced unbidden. During my years trapped in the Dingyuan Marquis Manor, he had once tried to send me a secret letter. Lin Suiyu had intercepted it before I could read a single word. On my deathbed, Lin Suiyu had sneered the truth at me. Shameless Xia Tingsu, pursuing another man's wife. Do you know what that letter said? He wrote he would help you secure a divorce so he could marry you himself. What right does he have to want you? It was your fault I lost Tinglan. You belong to me and no one else for the rest of your life. I sent that letter to the censorate and spread gossip across the capital, painting the triumphant General Xia as a lecher chasing a married woman. I meant to ruin his reputation completely. Madman. I had breathed a bitter laugh in my final moments. I watched his health waste away little by little, poisoned slowly by the doses I'd slipped him over years of resentment, and a flicker of bitter satisfaction settled in my chest. No matter how you schemed to stand between us, my heart belonged to him long ago and it still does. Shock flashed across Lin Suiyu's face as I drew my last breath. Warm coals burned inside the carriage as I changed out of my soaked clothes and lifted the curtain. Xia Tingsu sat driving the carriage, his broad back shielding me from bitter gusts of wind. Why did you come back ahead of schedule? He glanced over his shoulder, speaking unabashedly. I guessed you missed me terribly, so I raced back post-haste. As the carriage rolled past the river embankment, the curtain fluttered open a crack. I spotted Lin Suiyu standing alone on the snow-covered shore. My sister had already been escorted home by her personal maid, leaving him isolated amid the vast white landscape. His gaze was fixed rigidly on our carriage, or rather, fixed on Xia Tingsu, whether stung by the bitter wind or something deeper. His eyes were red-rimmed, his expression unreadable, not simply anger, more like a boiling pot suddenly brought to a roiling simmer, burning no one but himself. I lowered the curtain and looked away. Sensing my distraction, Xia Tingsu tucked my cold hand inside his own coat. Someone you know. I nodded faintly. A classmate of my sister's from the academy. Then he is irrelevant to us. A faint cold smirk tugged at Xia Tingsu's lips. He did not press further, his arm around my shoulders tightening slightly. As soon as we arrived home, I fell seriously ill again. The fever raged fiercely, confining me to bed for an entire month. Xia Tingsu came to the U Manor every single day, yet never stepped foot inside my chambers. He simply left medicinal herbs and precious tonics with the gatekeeper out of propriety. He persisted for weeks on end, Growing suspicious, my mother sent servants to inquire. Learning the visitor was none other than Xia Tingsu, the only son of Duke Ningguo. He had risen to instant fame on his western campaign. His swift victories subdued Qiangli and Miluo, two powers preying on trade routes through the western regions, forcing both to submit tribute to our empire. Delighted by his triumph, the emperor named him fourth-rank military marquis, awarding him 10,000 taels of gold and a fief of 1,000 households. Truly a meteoric rise to prestige and renown while still young. On the 15th day of his visits, my father and mother formally invited him into the main hall, wrapped in a blanket behind a folding screen. I listened as father questioned him on official duties and our history together. Xia Tingsu answered each query calmly, respectfully, and with sharp clarity. Mother's tone softened into warmth. Yuer has always been frail and a little spoiled by nature. You will need great patience for her in the years ahead. General. I twisted the edge of my blanket between my fingers, my ears burning hot. Both our families had long approved of Xia Tingsu and my match. Spurred by subtle urging from Duke Ningguo, our betrothal was finalized before the new year. A month later, Lin Suiyu came calling at the Yu Manor seeking my sister. Ever since falling through the ice, my sister had learned her lesson and abandoned reckless mischief, resting quietly at home to recover. She had not inhaled much water when pulled out, and after several herbal treatments, her cold had all but faded. She threw her arms around me, voice plaintive. If not for you jumping in after me, I would have drowned that day. Lin Suiyu claimed to have feelings for me, yet hesitated to dive in to save me when I fell. I understand winter water is freezing, yet it shattered my impression of him completely. He talks of love, but no one cares for me half as deeply as you do. Sister, I swear, from now on I will always share my best food with you. I could not help laughing, dabbing her tear-streaked cheeks with a handkerchief and murmuring consolations. By afternoon, her spirits had fully recovered. She ordered a fire lit in the courtyard and rolled up her sleeves to roast sweet potatoes over the embers. Xia Tingsu was already a familiar sight around our estate by now, polishing his sword at a stone table. Sunlight sculpted his sharp profile, his eyes drifting toward me every few moments. Lin Suiyu stepped into the courtyard to witness this exact scene. His footsteps faltered for a split second. My sister glanced up, holding out a roasted sweet potato with cool politeness. You've come, Lord Lin. Care for some? Lin Suiyu shook his head. Tinglan, you've missed many lessons by skipping academy these past weeks. His eyes flicked coolly towards Xia Tingsu as he spoke, his tone strained. I've brought all your textbooks for you. My sister's eyes widened. I've been bedridden sick, and you still expect me to study? Hugging the stack of books to her chest, she huffed and retreated indoors. Lin Suiyu remained rooted where he stood, no longer rushing after her as he once would have. After a long pause, he spoke at last. Has second young mistress you recovered from her cold? The snow of earlier had melted away beneath bright sunshine, the glazed roof tiles shimmering brilliantly. Persimmons hung ripe orange from treetops, and a ginger cat curled up in my lap soaking up sunlight. Recovered. I stroked the cat's soft fur and lowered my gaze to nod. Thank you for your concern, Lord Lin. He stared at me, then at Xia Tingsu standing close beside me, words forming on his lips only to be swallowed back down. Xia Tingsu sheathed his sword, stepping smoothly between Lin Suiyu and me. He draped a cloak naturally over my shoulders. A breeze has picked up. My fiancito not catch a chill again. A sharp little canine peeked out as he smiled, his tone openly affectionate. Lin Suiyu stiffened from head to toe, staring at me in utter disbelief, his face sinking pale inch by inch. You two are betrothed. We are. Xia Tingsu laced his fingers through mine, his gaze calm yet edged with quiet challenge. Zhao and I grew up side by side, childhood sweethearts. Our engagement was only a matter of time. You are welcome to attend our wedding and share a cup of wine then, Lord Lin. Lin Suiyu clenched his hands inside his sleeves. I will not. His eyelids flushing red, sounding petulant yet mournful. I was never truly acquainted with second young mistress Yu to begin with. As the year drew to a close, Households exchanged seasonal gifts to nurture social ties. My sister and I accompanied mother to visit my paternal uncle and maternal grandparents. Busy with rounds of social calls. Yet Lin Sueyu's visits to our home grew more and more frequent. At first, he used delivering medicinal tonics as an excuse, gifting rare precious supplements for both my sister and me. Soon he dropped pretense entirely, sending an endless stream of fine gifts. Hair ornaments one day, silk gowns and face powder the next. My sister studied the pink peach blossom flower pinned in my hair, suspicion dawning on her face. He is not coming for me at all, his heart is set on you. Every dress and trinket he sends matches your tastes exactly. Piecing together his odd behavior these weeks, realization struck her. She huffed indignantly. No wonder his eyes are glued to you every time he visits. I was foolish to trust him. Does he not know you are engaged to General Xia? What a shameless flirt. I said nothing in reply, simply instructing the gatekeeper to return every parcel he sent. On New Year's Eve afternoon, I stepped out with my maid Kaiwei to buy last-minute New Year provisions. While Kaiwei went to fetch pine nut candy, Lin Sueyu suddenly appeared, snatching my wrist and dragging me into a secluded back alley. Shadows of high walls enclosed us entirely. His voice trembled rough and hoarse on the wind. You Zhao Yue. How could you truly agree to marry Xia Tingsu? I thought you were only pretending to be spoken for. You were meant to what? I pulled my wrist free, stepping backward to create distance between us. Meant to marry you. What exactly do you want? Lin Sueyu. You behaved the same way in my past life, and it disgusted me then just as it does now. Lin Sueyu's head snapped up, pupils blown wide with shock. You have also been reborn. His breathing turned ragged, staring down at his own hands in helpless agitation, his chest heaving. I misunderstood and wronged you terribly in our past life. Yet you poisoned me to my slow end. Let us call it even. Can we not? These past weeks I've seen clearly. My pride blinded me, shifting all blame onto you, when in truth I was never repelled by you. I loved you all along. The first time I laid eyes on you at the academy, in your canary yellow dress as bright as winter jasmine, my heart stirred at once. I was just too stubborn to admit it back then. Give me one more chance. Break your engagement with him, and let us start over. I will not. My expression turned cold and unyielding. You have always lived trapped inside your own delusions. You swore love for my sister once, yet now perform grand declarations of love for Mado. You not see how ridiculous this is? I am betrothed to the man I have always loved. Talented, upright, and endlessly kind to me. I am happier than I ever dreamed possible. Why would I throw this away for you? For your endless humiliation and suffering. If you had not begged the throne for that forced betrothal in our past life, I would never have spared you a single glance. Lin Sueyu's face drained completely pale. His lips parted and closed repeatedly, a pain sob catching in his throat. He reached out to pull me into his arms, but I tore a hairpin from my coiffure and slashed it across his forearm. Blood welled from the cut, dripping scarlet onto the ground drop by drop. He froze, endless sorrow flooding his eyes. Do you hate me this deeply? Footsteps echoed from the end of the alley. Xia Tingsa stepped out of the twilight, clad in soft robes, steady and imposing as he strode toward me. You. Time to head home for our New Year's feast. I blinked back tears and ran straight toward him. Lin Sueyu watched our retreating figures bathed in lantern light, letting out a bitter, hollow laugh, not mocking, but hollowed out by despair. Xia Tingsu, he called, blood still trickling from his wounded arm, his voice raw and cracked. Treat her well. Our wedding was set for the 19th day of the 3rd lunar month. Xia Tingsa told me he'd personally consulted the imperial astronomer for this date, confirming it an extremely auspicious omen 3 separate times. Our wedding day draped the entire city in red silk in celebration. Seated on the bridal bed beneath my red veil, I listened to firecrackers and wedding music echoing down every street. The chamber door swung open, a night breeze drifting and carrying the scent of peach blossoms from the courtyard. The measuring pole lifted my veil gently. Xia Tingsa stood before me, his crimson wedding robes deepening the intensity of his features. He stared at me, throat bobbing, before managing a single awkward phrase. You look beautiful. A smile tugged at my lips. Stubborn steed. You are terrible with compliments, sis, that all you can say. He thought hard, speaking with utter sincerity. Exceedingly beautiful. The attending maids struggled to stifle their giggles beside us. Married life unfolded gentle and peaceful. Xia Tingsa rose before dawn each morning for military drills, always leaving a pot of breakfast he'd cooked himself warming on the stove. Strangely, for a battle-hardened general, he possessed remarkable culinary skill, having traveled across the empire. He could recreate delicacies from every region with effortless ease. On lazy mornings when I lingered in bed after his early return from training, he would lift me into his arms to dress and wash me himself, only to freeze mid-task sometimes, gazing at me silently before leaning in to kiss me deeply. The bed curtains fell shut, hiding our intimacy from view. My fingers braced against his solid, heaving chest. When his passion grew fierce, I would sink my teeth into him, leaving faint scarring punctures on his collarbone. At the height of summer, fellow soldiers stripped off their tunics to swim in the river to beat the heat. Yet Xia Tingsa remained rigidly formal, fastening his collar fully closed. They teased him privately. Marriage has turned our Marquis Xia soft and domestic, a total henpecked husband. By early summer, persistent nausea plagued me. At first I assumed it was simply indigestion from eating cold food in hot weather. Yet 3 days of digestive tonics brought no relief. Panicked, Xia Tingsa summoned the chief imperial physician directly to our manor. The old physician pressed his fingers to my pulse, stroking his beard into a delighted grin. Congratulations, General. Madam, you are 2 months with child. Xia Tingsa froze completely on the spot. I called his name twice before he jolted back to reality, voice trembling. You. What did he say? When the physician repeated the news, he turned to me, lips pressed tight, cheeks flushing red like an awkward young stallion. He mumbled in quiet dismay. It came so unexpectedly fast. I've heard childbirth is agonizing, so let us have just this one. I laughed fondly, rumpling his hair. News of Lin Suiyu reached me via my sister's visit one day. She came bearing a dozen sets of summer garments she'd sewn for me, alongside a packet of sour dried apricots sent by a young Mr. Shin she'd grown close to in the south. I noticed her flushed ears and chose not to tease her, stowing the fruit away quietly. Mid-conversation, she paused. Have you heard? Lin Suiyu got dead drunk the other night and fell off the South City Arch Bridge. I stilled mid-peel of an apricot. Oh, did he survive? He broke a leg. The physician says he will walk with a permanent limp once healed, and he will almost certainly lose his right to inherit the Marquis title. My sister propped her chin in her hand. Speaking of him as a total stranger, I popped an apricot into my mouth, wincing at its sharp sourness. Searching my heart, I found no stir of emotion whatsoever. Tasty. My sister smiled brightly. Very, I replied. Pass me another. She chatted with me for hours, and as she rose to leave, I caught hold of her sleeve. When will you bring this Mr. Shin to meet our parents and me? My sister's face burned bright red at once. Do not speak nonsense, nothing is settled between us yet. Oh, I drew out the syllable teasingly. Nothing settled. Then why does this young noble follow you around all day long with no formal betrothal? Flustered, she fled the room. Xia Tingsa returned home at dusk to find me laughing on the daybed, asking what had amused me. I told him about my sister's budding romance, casually mentioning Lin Suiyu's misfortune as well. He paused mid-changing out of his outer robe, letting out a low Aren't you curious how I feel about it? I knew he also retained memories of our past life. Prodding him playfully, Xia Tingsa crossed to my side, bending to press a soft kiss to my forehead. You speak of him with a smile, he said simply. Therefore, it matters not to me. I tilted my head upward to look at him. Xia Tingsu. Yes. You did an awful job styling my hair this morning. Shall I practice more? No need. I tugged his collar to draw him down close, whispering against his ear. I will love it even when it's messy. Twilight settled deep outside our windows, corridor lanterns swaying gently in the breeze. Year after year stretched ahead. My beloved always by my side, and that was perfection enough for this mortal world.